Welcome to another JournalNow.com high school football video. My name is Joe Serrera, and I am joined by Reagan Raiders head coach Josh McGee, whose team is playing North Davidson this week at home to open the season. And the game has now been moved up from Friday night to 7:30 p.m. Thursday because of the weather forecast on Friday night. Josh, thank you for taking the time to talk with us.
Yeah, Joe, thanks for having me.
Got to be a little bit of a tougher turnaround now to prepare quickly, finding out at midday today that you're going to be playing tomorrow night. How does that change things for you?
Not at all. It's a lot of kind of running around trying to get game day operations organized. But I think from a football standpoint, because this is week one, we've been practicing for 3 weeks. So we've had 3 weeks to prepare for this moment. It's not a normal game week, I guess, where you've only spent 3 days against an opponent. We've spent a lot of time on North Davidson leading up to this moment, so we're ready.
Actually gives you an extra day to prepare for next week's opponent after this game, so a little bit of an advantage there. You're coming off of a season, your Raiders, where you finished atop the Central Piedmont 4A. What did your team learn from last season and that success, and how do you build on it?
Yeah, I think the first thing we learned was you can win games at a high level being extremely physical. I think the physicality that we played with last year was something that helped us finish first in this league. And I think it really showed our guys the importance of the weight room and playing a physical brand of ball. And so that's kind of been a focus for us in the offseason was, continuing to be as strong and as physically tough as possible and play with a chip on our shoulder each week. It's the success that we have every year. It doesn't matter. We still have to prove something new to a new group every year. And but I think that brand of ball that we played last year suited us and the type of style we like to play, and gave us that kind of that momentum and edge going into our offseason.
And the talent that you guys have up front, particularly on that offensive line, but also on the defensive line, if you're being physical, you are kind of playing in this team's strengths, aren't you, in terms of the personnel that you've got?
Yeah, I think that's one thing you have to do at the high school level. You don't go out and recruit guys to fit your scheme like you do at the collegiate level. You get what you get, and you try to build around it. And right now, that's who we are. We've got some guys that I think are not your average high school linemen on both sides of the ball, and so we want to play to those strengths, and that's what gives us the best chance to win each week.
You did lose some key players on offense to graduation. You're talking about quarterback Cam Hill, John Gillette at running back, 2 top receivers, VJ Wilkins, Montrell Jones. How do you replace their production?
Yeah, I'm not sure you replace all that production. You don't replace a John Gillette. The things that John Gillette did were, I went back in the offseason and watched, you rewatch the tape and you evaluate, and he did some things that were, kind of just, you just shake your head because you don't see it every day. But you look for the next group of guys to kind of step up and become leaders and understand their role. Those guys, VJ Wilkins, Montrell Jones, they had a role, and they played their role extremely well. Cam Hill was a great leader and ran our offense and understood his role within the offense. And so I think, like as you mentioned earlier, with each team, there's new roles and there's new expectations. And so getting some of these new guys to understand their role and not try to do too much, not try to play outside themselves, will be key for us.
You have an awful lot of talent returning on the defensive side of the ball. You start with Duke commit Samaj Turner, but there's a lot of talent on that side of the ball and a lot of experience. How important is that group to your success?
Defense kind of sets the tone. I've been a quarterback and an offensive guy my entire life, and the older I get, the more I realize the importance of playing really good defense. And he's one of the best football players in the state of North Carolina. He's a tremendous leader. Guys follow him. He can physically dominate a game by himself sometimes. And, he had a tremendous year last year as the player of the year. But you go across our defensive front, there's really good players everywhere. Arthur Bryant, CJ McCoy is a new guy that we're plugging in this year at the nose. Josh Lobbs is our I guess, production linebacker into the boundary, who had a great year last year. Nick Hall, our Mike linebacker, who was an all-CPC player, is back. Our nickel, Jeremiah Bailey, who's back. The secondary guys, Landon Callahan and Jaleel Rogers, are 2 of the best corners that I think, our league has to offer. Zion Fant in the secondary. You know, we're still kind of tinkering with a few other guys at free safety, but a lot of experience and a lot of guys who have played in big time ball games back on our defense, and a group that we are really excited about.
This week you get North Davidson, a team that has a lot of talent back on offense, skill positions, and they went 3 rounds into the 3A playoffs last year. What do you see as you prepare for the Black Knights and Brian Flynn's team?
A really good running back. You know, I've told our guys for 3 weeks now, I think this may be the best back that we see all year long. You know, he's a big kid. He's 6'1", 200 pounds. That alone presents problems.
That's Savion Hayes. Yeah,
he's a great football player. You know, he caused us a lot of problems last year. And so, you know, 6'1", 200 pounds at the high school level, that's a tough tackle. You know, so we've got to be really good tacklers. Offensive line is solid. You know, you've got a quarterback that's back for this played a lot of high school football, and he understands that offense. Wide receivers that are long. You know, he's got some 6'2", 6'3" guys out there. So our defense will have their hands full, and obviously have to be really good in both the pass and the run this week.
What does your team have to do overall to come out of that game with a win in your opener?
Minimize mistakes. You know, I think it doesn't matter if that's the opener or the state championship game. You have to minimize mistakes. Usually the teams that win the first game of the year are the teams that make the least amount of mistakes, and, you know, take care of the football. Don't turn it over, create turnovers, and just execute at a high level. Find ways not to beat yourself. Play our brand of ball. And if we do those things, we feel like we always have a chance.
Well, it's going to be a great opener. Look forward to that tomorrow night, Thursday night. Wish you guys nothing but luck in that game and going forward in the season.
Thank you, Joe.